Parts of skeleton. The skeletal system is composed of bones and the related structures that aid body movement. It is divided into two major parts, the axial skeleton and the appendicular skeleton. Axial skeleton. The axial skeleton consists of the bones along the axis or the central line of the human body. The axial skeleton consists of the skull, facial bones, sternum, ribs, and vertebral column. Skull. Skull is a hard structure made up of small bones. It is formed by 22 bones, out of which 8 bones are fixed together to form the cranium and 14 bones fuse to form the face. The only bone which has movable joint is the lower jaw. This movable joint is supported by muscles and ligaments. Skull placed on the top of the backbone can be moved up, down, and sideways. Next, vertebral column. Vertebral column running at the back of the body is also called as spine or the backbone. Vertebral column is made up of individual bones called as vertebrae. Total vertebral column consists of 7 cervical vertebrae, 12 lumbar vertebrae, 5 fused sacral and 3 fused coccygeal vertebrae. Sternum or rib cage. Rib cage occupies the chest region. It is a cone-shaped structure made up of 12 pairs of ribs. Ribs are attached to vertebrae at the back which curve around to form a cage. 10 pairs of ribs are attached to the breastbone at the front. 2 pairs of lower limbs are free at front. These are called as free floating ribs. Rib cage protects the underlying lungs, heart, and some part of liver. Shoulder bone or pectoral bone. Shoulder bone is formed by collarbone at the front and the shoulder blade at the back. The collarbone is supported by the breastbone at one end and the shoulder blade at the other end. The shoulder bone encloses a socket-like cavity into which fixes the ball of the upper arm. This forms the ball and socket joint. This girdle is also called as pectoral girdle. Pelvic bone. Pelvic bone is also called as pelvic girdle. It is made up of strong bones to balance entire weight of the body. Pelvic girdle is formed by 5 fused vertebrae at the back and form a cavity in the center while reaching the front part. The thigh bones are attached to either side of the girdle with a ball and socket joint. Arm bone. Arm bone is the upper limb made up of humerus, radius, ulna, carpels, metacarpals, and phalanges. All these bones are joined by hinge joint which allow the limb to move only in one direction. Humerus make up the upper arm. Forearm is made up of radius and ulna. Wrist is made up of carpels. Palm is made up of metacarpals. Fingers are made up of phalanges. Leg bone. Leg bone is the lower limb made up of femur, tibia, fibula, tarsals, metatarsals, and phalanges. All these bones are joined by hinge joint by allow the limb to move only in one direction. Muscles. The muscles in the body provide the means of all movements. They cover the skeletal framework and also give shape to the body. Muscles help to maintain body posture while sitting, standing, or walking. More muscles are long bundles of contractile tissues. When stimulated by a nerve, the muscle contracts to become shorter and thicker, and thus it pulls the bone at the movable end. Muscles can only contract and relax. They cannot lengthen. Types of muscles: striated, or skeletal muscles are voluntary muscles. Unstriated or smooth muscles are involuntary muscles. Third one, cardiac muscles. Types of muscles: striated, skeletal, voluntary muscles. Location: attached to bones, found in arms, legs, neck. Non-striated, smooth, involuntary muscle attached to soft parts of the body like blood vessels, iris, bronchi and the skin. Cardiac muscle, heart. Coordination of muscles. Muscles move body parts by contracting and then relaxing. Muscles can pull bones, but they can't push them back to the original position. So they work in pairs of flexors and extensors. For example, the biceps muscle in the front of the upper arm is a flexor, and the triceps at the back of the upper arm is the extensor. When you bend your elbow, the biceps contracts, then the biceps relaxes, and the triceps contract to straighten the elbow.